Good morning. Who's ready to role play? I know everyone's most exciting topic. Everyone's like, me, pick me, pick me, pick me. So happy Tuesday. I hope you're all ready for this amazing live stream that kicks off in an hour and a half. So if you have not signed up, check your email. It's something you will not want to miss. So look, when we talk about sharing the market, right? I want to start off by going through some of the things that are more challenging. I'm only, well, here's the first thing I want to share with you. When somebody tells you, Margie, that I just like hearing from Margie. I think we'll all get to know that her Boston accent is the best. Is if someone tells you I'm only going to buy a house if I find the right house, is that a good client? Yes or no?
Very
No,
long term, not great.
no. It is not long term. It is the definition of insanity. That's not the right client for any of you, right? And especially in this market. And, when you start spending time, money, and resources on things that don't work, eventually you start to think you're crazy. Just remember that buying a home is someone else's choice. It's not yours, right? The next thing, and this is the first one that we'll actually role play, is how many people find that they're in a competitive market? And then how many people find in this competitive market, they have people coming to them. It's like, I want to get a deal in this market. Do you ever hear that? So a couple of people unmute themselves. If I were to tell you that I want to get a deal, what would you tell me? To just unmute yourself.
I guess I would say a deal is if you find the right house for you.
Okay, that's one answer. Keep going. One, three more.
Ask them what a deal looks like to them.
Exactly. Mike, tried and true, comes back year after year. That is the correct answer. So Mike says to me, Chirag, I really want to find a good deal. And you're going to say, great. I would love to understand what a good deal is for you. And then can we look at the market through the eyes of your goals and expectations? Dahlia, you're in New York City, so I can come meet you in about 20, an hour and 25 minutes if you're going to come to 110. So check this out. Now, it's called creating the experience. Nobody on earth wants to work with a non-enthusiastic salesperson, right? So I'm going to tell Mike, would it be okay to look through the market, through your goals and expectations? And he's going to say yes. I'm going to pull the comps back for 3 months. And I'm going to say, based on your goals and expectation, what a good deal is for you and where you're looking, do you see any of those deals here? Let him look at it. And it's very important that he says no. Don't be like, well, if you see these things and the type of deal you're looking for is not like you're literally lecturing somebody going, no, 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 no. Not in rapport. All right, great. Let's go back 6 months. Let's go back 9 months. Let's go back 12 months. If the people, is my favorite word, is batshit crazy. Go back all the way up to 12 to 18 months. So you go 3, 3, 3, like 4 times, right? You go back a full year. This is what you call creating the experience. And then from there, you go 12 to 18. If they still don't want to believe it, you go 18 to 24. Now watch. This is where all the money is. I would say, Mike, based on your goals and expectations and what you felt was a good deal or even say the right deal for you and your family, there has not been a single one available in the last 24 months. How can I best support you going forward? It's like chess, check. So, Mike, what would you say?
As the buyer,
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, wait, maybe if you're a great agent, you'll get me an off-market deal, one that not everybody has access to.
And I would say, Mike, I can completely appreciate that fact. And, I want to make sure that your goals and expectations are met. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm somebody that's going to meet that expectation for you, where if based on what other buyers are willing to pay for homes and what sellers are willing to accept, there hasn't been a single deal in 24 years. I don't want to take you out weekend after weekend, taking up your time to essentially find something that I know, based on the market, has not existed in the last 2 years. So let me ask you one more question. If you were selling your home and you had access to this information, would you take blank type of deal for your house, and why?
Well, I'd have to be really motivated to sell and sell quickly, I guess, to take one of those deals.
Got it. And based on what we've shared, how fast are all the other homes selling? Remember, it's a competitive market.
Looks like about 2 weeks they're under agreement.
2 weeks. And in 2 weeks under agreement, we looked at the list price to sales price average, what sellers are putting their home on the market and buyers are willing to pay. What's the relationship in terms of percentage with those numbers?
Looks like they're going over ask for the most part.
For the most part. And you felt a good deal for you is what percentage under the asking?
10% under.
10% under. So look, Mike, I encourage you to think about a couple different things. If this is the right time for you and your family to buy, because regardless of it's myself or any other agent you partner with, people all have access to the same data. And if they're working with an agent, likely they're going to see this data, or they're going to hire an appraiser to get the value of their house. Most people individually don't come to their own conclusions. And then really look at it and ask yourself, what is important to you about buying a home for 10% under, or really that's what your budget is, but the houses that you wanted were 10% more. So let me know how I could best support you going forward.
Fair enough.
Bye. Can we all do this? All right, so who are my first two candidates for role play today? Mike, you can't volunteer twice.
Fair enough.
I'll go.
I'll go?
Lena.
Lena. Okay, where's Lena? Hold on. All right, there's Lena. And Lena, since you went first, do you want to be the buyer or do you want to be the agent?
I'll be the buyer.
Okay, perfect. Now, who wants to volunteer to be the agent? Lisa.
Ready.
Perfect.
I hope.
Okay. So Lena's going to start off by saying, I'm looking for a good deal
Mhm.
on a home.
And I'm going to use based on a real experience with a buyer. Okay. Lisa, hi, thank you for meeting me here in Georgetown. I'm really interested in purchasing a 2-bedroom, 2-bath home in anywhere in Northwest, but in particular Georgetown.
Oh, sorry, you disappeared on me.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. Okay, so I'm so glad that you're interested in coming to my market. I love living here. It's been a great community for me to raise my children in. What's causing you to make this move now?
Well, I rent and I have 4 roommates. I'm in Logan Circle right now.
Wow. Okay.
And yes, and so and my boyfriend just recently moved in, and so as you can imagine, the 1 bedroom that we are sharing in this house in Logan Circle is getting really, I mean, it's starting to get very tight and uncomfortable. So I decided to purchase a 2-bedroom. My parents are going to help me with the down payment, and my boyfriend will move in with me, and also one of my roommates is going to rent for me the other bedroom.
So it sounds like you have a really well thought out plan. What kind of time frame are you hoping to make all of this happen within?
Well, we have to renew our lease in the next 4 months.
4 months. Okay, got it.
Yes.
So the average home buyer search these days is taking about 30 days to find a place.
Okay.
And then to close from the time we reach an agreement with an accepted offer on a homeowner, it's about 45 to 60 days. So the good news is we have about 2 or 3 weeks to get really educated about what you're looking to find and then get out and make it happen, which gives you a little tiny bit of cushion. So are you the type of person that moves through things swiftly, or are you the type of person that takes a little bit more time to sort of arrive at decisions? Because we got a little bit of a time crunch here.
Well, I'm always on a computer because I work for a marketing firm and I do a lot of the marketing, so I'm always online. So, through Zillow, Redfin, etc. And thank you for sending me, the emails through Compass with the searches. They're very helpful. Yeah, once I see something that I like, I'm gonna go for it because I don't want to keep renting. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of my own background. So culturally, I am not going to accept anything at list price. I am not going to offer anything at list. I am going to try to at least go under by 5 to 10%, and I will want the seller to cover my closing costs.
Interesting. Now, is that because you feel as though the market today is, just inflated, or is that just your personal preference as far as you mentioned culturally, you're just feeling as though there are no good deals out there? So if the perfect property came along,
Pause. Right?
sorry,
So when she says this, say, I completely understand, right? So you just lost, like there it just goes. Remember, the goal is to talk as little as possible, to ask questions that brings them to the natural conclusion that you're trying to get them on without saying anything on your own, right?
it's
So
funny because that's what I do in real life. But for some reason, as soon as she said culturally, I got very nervous about making sure that I was appropriate. Under normal,
exactly. So ready, you just say, hey, I completely understand.
yeah.
So would it be okay if we looked at the market in the areas you're looking for through the eyes of your goals and expectations? What do you think she's going to say?
She's gonna say, of course. So I completely understand. Would it be okay if we looked at the market through the eyes of your goals and expectations that you have for your next home?
Sure. I've also been looking at trends through Zillow, and because of the high interest rates, I see that some places are going, closing 1% lower than list price here and there, and I'm hoping to get something like maybe 5%. I know maybe 10 might be a stretch, but like at least 5% under list with closing cost assistance from the seller. And my dad's going to put at least 50% down. So this $700,000 condo that we're looking at, I'm only going to finance about 350. And I hear that putting down a large chunk would make me a very strong buyer. I've done a lot of my research before actually choosing an agent.
I love that. It's important to really feel empowered when you're out there searching. So what I think we should do next is take a look at the last 3 months of sales so that we can consider the property size, the style, the condition, the asking price versus the sales price, and determine if you would have considered any of those properties.
I'm going to pause you again. Ready?
Yep.
This is why getting live feedback's the best. One, I don't want to be rude and just think I'm cutting you off, right?
No, hit me with it.
You get a strong cultural buyer like this, and you're talking like that, they're going to steamroll you, right? So what you're going to say is great. Sounds like you're really clear. Assume that she's already told you the type of property and you pulled them up, right?
Okay.
You don't want to go into lot size, square footage, and everything else like that. You're literally going to pull the last 3 months of comps. And I would say, Lena, based on what you feel is the right deal, not even a good deal, the right deal for you in this situation, do you see any of these that have been available? She's going to say, Lena, what are you going to say?
No. Well, maybe 6 months ago, I did see something on Girard Street, but I wasn't ready to purchase.
Perfect. Now let's go back 6 months ago. Okay, there's that one house on Girard Street. Let's go back 9 months ago. Let's go back 12 months ago. Realistically, when these buyers say it, there's maybe one house, right? So as an agent, you're going to say in the last 12 months are this many homes that transacted. there's been one of these types of properties, right? So you're going to say, based on that, how do you think I could best support you going forward? Go ahead.
Oh.
So,
Get back
Lena,
into characters.
so Lena, based on the fact that there's been one house in the last 12
No,
months.
go do the 3 months, 6 months, 9
okay,
months.
sorry.
That's the part you really want to practice. And
I
just
apologize.
asking them, do you see any of the deals that would be right for you available over the last 3 months?
Lena, do you see any of the deals available that would be right for you in the last 3 months?
Not only the one on Gerard, the seller must have been very motivated to sell, to move quickly, looks like.
I understand. Let's check the last 6 months and see if there's any deals that you feel you'd be happy with in the last 6 months and really expand and go a little further. How about the last 6 months? Do you see anything that would be a good deal to you here?
I would like the prices of 6 months ago. In today's market, no.
No. Okay.
Mhm.
So we've gone back 6 months. We have the one on Gerard, so we'll put that aside. Let's go back and look at 9 months. How about 9 months? Do you see any here that would be a good deal for you in this batch?
No.
Okay, got it. And then let's just go for the sake of it, let's go push back to 12 months and see if there's anything here that you feel would be a good deal based on what you're hoping for.
I should have bought 12 months ago before signing this lease. Yeah, I do see a couple that I would have jumped on.
Okay, got it. And so what we've learned is that 12 months ago, there were some properties that you would consider, but in the most recent market, we've only got the one. So how do you feel that we can proceed if the goal is to have something in the next 4 months?
Well, I'm available to go and look at properties, just give me half-hour notice. I live in Logan Circle, so I can, go anywhere, Uber and meet you anywhere, and hopefully we find something that I like, and you can negotiate the heck out of it.
I understand. Based on the fact that we've only found one property that would meet your goals, and you've got such a short time constraint, it would kind of be irresponsible of me to set you up to see these properties that you don't feel are good deals. I don't want to waste your time knowing that you're in such an important time crunch. You have these big goals. I don't know that I would be the right agent for you, since there's no properties that meet your criteria other than that one.
All right, so in other words, you're saying you're not willing to try or submit an offer on my behalf.
I am always willing to try, and I am always willing to submit an offer. But what you've just decided is that only one of the properties would have been of interest for you to submit an offer on.
Okay, all right.
Now, at that point,
Now, I would say to her, ready? Lena, given your time constraint and all the other things that you shared are important, I'd list them off. What is your plan B if you can't get a home at this price?
Lena, given your time constraint, what is your plan B if you're not able to find a home that you feel is a good deal at this price?
Well, I think I would save some money on my end to supplement what my dad's going to give me and get as close and get more than 50% down towards a condo, and maybe be an even stronger buyer. And I don't mind signing a lease for another year, making that sacrifice.
So for this purpose, I would say she's really tough. And I think that this probably isn't a buyer that I would want to work with. But in my experience,
If this is a real life scenario, I would
It
run
is.
away from this person as fast as humanly possible, as if
Yeah.
Jason in the movie himself was chasing you with a machete. Like, look, I can say this because I'm Indian, right? So like, I'm not like saying anything inappropriately, but culturally, a lot of Indian people are like this, right? Do you know how I came up with this whole system? Because I signed up for Zillow Premier Agent the day before it did, and I bought all these zip codes and a lot of money in them. So I realized quickly that when the reviews came out, it was really important. I get a ton of people that were Indian clients that all would go out and do this to me. So then I came up with this scenario of like, all right, let me build this out and see what they would do before we even go out, right? So like some other questions in your tool belt are this: if you were selling your home, would you accept an offer that you want to submit and why, right? If you had access to all of this data. No person in their right mind would, but she has to say it, not you, right? And you're gonna, and then the line that you also want to practice is, I see Ashok smiling. He knows what I'm talking about. You know, ultimately the line is, I loved, like the best thing you said out of all of it, it's irresponsible for me to do that. I love that line. Like that is, it's irresponsible of me to bring you out weekend after weekend on a tight time crunch, given that over the last 12 months and 100 homes have sold, one has been available, right? So as much as there are different strategies on negotiating, every person that's represented by a realtor and that owns a home has access to the same data. So let me ask you, if you had access to this data, why would you take a similar offer and why? These are just different ways to do it.
Yeah, turn it around and yeah,
It
put them
always has
in
to
the
be turned
seller's
around.
shoes. Yeah. I have two other clients, and one I was able to turn around and she's like, oh, I understand, I get it. And hopefully we'll get her under contract soon. She gets it now.
Yeah.
Would you ever try to explain that what you're talking about is outsaving the market? And in order to outsave the market, let's look at the last 12 months of increases and see how much you would need to save in order to outpace. Like we went up 20%. So I've had a lot of good luck helping buyers understand when they say we're going to slow down and save some more. And I've been able to say to them, so in the market that you're looking at, it's gone up 20% over year. Do you feel as though you'd be able to save 25 or 30%? And if so, we're just going to still end up with the houses you're rejecting now, but they're going to cost you that much more. Like we've had at least 10, maybe 12 buyers in the last 6 months say they're going to put their searches on hold until I deliver the you can't outsave the market pitch. And then they kind of realize they need to find something now versus wait. Would you bother to do that or no?
You know, the way I would phrase it, has anyone taken the time to share with you how much money you'd have to save to outpace the market?
That's a good one. No, I've never used that.
Yeah, that you're the first one I've ever heard say that. So that's so I would just build this into a spreadsheet, right? Like find somebody that's a spreadsheet nerd and just say like money and interest rates. I'm like put all the variables in there because they're all math formulas.
Yeah.
And give them the spreadsheet and say, hey, you can play around with this on your own, but this is the understanding of how much more money you'd have to say. And you could change the rates, how much the market goes up, and it's like legal gambling. This was such a great role play today.
I appreciate being a part of this. It's like it's so helpful. Thank you, Lena, so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Look, I think I want to just spend the last few minutes talking to you about, please, like please, from my heart, I'm saying this for all of your mental well-being, right? This is good for your business, your life, and your bank account. Do not take out people like this. It is bad for you. You get one person like Mike Rivers or Brad Coy who know these things inside out and backwards, and the buyer goes to an open house and says, so tell me what you're looking for and stuff like that. Is anyone taking the time to share with you that a home in this neighborhood is not sold like that in the last 5 years? And they're gonna be like, what? Why has your agent been bringing you out under these pretenses? Gone. See you later. They have amnesia that this is what they told the agent. Like, do you really want to move? It opens a door that you don't need opened, right? It's like taking a bunch of overpriced listings and you have an agent that sells their listing, but like, look, do you want, like we did this for a client on a pitch. We're talking about different strategies, and she was pitching against a lady that had all these listings, and ultimately she points to the lady's listing, she pulls them up on the MLS. She goes, do you want your home to sit here on an average of 342 days? Because look at all these listings that this woman has. Because she's like, oh, I have all these listings in your area and this, but the lady overprices and then goes down, 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 right? Like this stuff can, you know, like they say, like whatever you do could say, whatever you say or do will be held against you. In real estate, whatever you say or do will be held against you if they go against the right person or go and meet the right person.
Yeah.
So that's what I have for you all today. So practice this. I want to get a good deal script. Remember, point number one, have them identify what a good deal is. Point number two, would it be okay if we looked at the market through the eyes of your goals and expectations? Number three, you pull up the comps, you show it to them and ask them, do you see a deal that was right, that would be right for you in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months? And say, based on the fact that none of these deals have been available for the last 24 months, how can I best support you going forward? And then remember your objection handlers, right? Like if you were looking at this from the other perspective, would you take your offer at 10% less and why? And see what they say. And then they turn it around. Well, I just really want you to negotiate. Well, you're going to say, great, based on every agent that's negotiated in the last 24 months, all the sellers have access to this data. So it'd be irresponsible of me to bring you out in the pretense of thinking that I can make magic happen and doing that when you have these kinds of tight time frames. I think there is another perspective, but check to perspective. Park them, check in, but don't fire them. Just check in respectfully and engage. Yeah, 100%. We're not saying fire them. We're just getting them to pause. Some people might need to save more money. Some people might want more time. They need to stop and think. And that's where the question comes, how can I best support you going forward?
Chirag, can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm basically going through this exact process. I got this lead from someone who months ago was working with another agent, and then they decided to make an offer 6 months later, not having talked to that agent recently. And the agent was like, you guys can't get an offer accepted with a home sale contingency. And there was definitely a disconnect there. But I've found that it's taken, a few days, a week or two to really get these people to understand what the market looks like, share the sold collection with them, ask them if they could favorite properties in the recently sold collection. So I can call the recently gone under agreement section. So I can call that agent and say, how many offers were there on this place? Did it go well above asking? And then drop that note right into the collection comments. And they're seeing, as they like favorite properties, exactly what's happening, how crazy these offers are getting, and really where they need to be. But it takes longer than this, quick conversation where 100 sold properties might be coming up, and they need some time to go through them and see what actually might work for them.
That's an amazing way to do it too, right? Like there's so many different ways to do it. The moral of the story is that I really want to get to is two things. One, know how to have this conversation, right? This is something every agent should master. Number two, understand and love yourself enough to walk away and don't go out weekend after weekend after weekend. It is mentally abusive, exhausting. It's a waste of time, money, and resources. So find a way to park them. I agree. And look, if Lena turned around in this role play, then I'll find an agent that can do that. That's fine. And even if she finds somebody and spends, a year looking at houses and she finally buys one, if you spent that same time calling people in your database and taking out people that really wanted to buy, you'll end up with more money and more clients.
True.
And in a better space here. So, all right, I need to go prep for this live stream. If you have the link, come join. As always, love in my heart. I love you all. And practice, 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 practice. And for anyone here that's in New York City, come visit me and say hello. Bye, everybody.
Bye.